Alright, it has been settled by the leading authorities in this game that Volcanic Fissure of Snaking is the best melee skill because it's not a melee skill, but it gets the melee skill taggity tags. Now what I want to do in this build, I want to build Hollow Palm because mirrored rings are back, and I was able to find this ring for 1 divine. That's right. 100 strength, 105 dex for 1 divine. Also has energy shield and life and physical attack damage leached as mana, which I kind of negate by converting all to elemental. The only downside of this ring here is 106 reduced mana regeneration rate. It does make it so I pretty much don't regenerate mana, but I have mana leech, so that doesn't even matter. That right there is a hot ring I got for the cheap. This one I did not get for the cheap. I rolled it myself, but getting a unset ring with a fixed chaos resistance was pretty expensive. It was like 5 divine or something like that. And I could do much better than this roll, but I got dex and life, and so I'm good enough, right? Dex, life, that's all I'm really looking for. I'm pretty good. Dex, life, and chaos resistance. Body armor is standard body armor. I was able to buy this for like 10 chaos because it wasn't socketed and it wasn't linked, but it did have the +1 to the level of socketed gems and +2 to the level of socketed AoE gems. That pumps this bad boy up to level 24. And back in the day for melee skills, that wasn't a big deal, but since melee got its buff, it's a much stronger effect. Pretty nice. And for this, we're getting 1% increased damage for 15 dexterity. Now I'm gonna hold off showing my dex until you guys are all excited to see my big old fat dex. But for now, I'm just going to talk about some other items here. This bad boy, 15% increased dexterity if strength is higher than int. And our strength is higher than our int. This bad boy right here, 36% increased attributes and 24% of physical damage as extra damage of a random element. I got the extra damage as a random element because I'm doing a lot of physical damage, and I plan to convert it all anyways. Big part of why I want to convert that is 1% increased elemental damage per 10 dexterity on top of 1% increased damage for 15 dexterity. So I'm getting a bit of a double-decker stacker here by doing physical to elemental conversion and then stacking physical and elemental. It's pretty nice indeed. Everyone uses these boots for a dex stacking build. I believe you could probably get some better boots, but these are extremely easy to get, so why not get them? You don't have to worry about it. They got the rolls you need. It has everything you need right on here, so you might as well use it. And the +2 to maximum life per 10 dexterity is a pretty good mod. And the belt is an 18% increased dexterity and a 15% increased flask effect duration belt that has dexterity rolled on it, it has life rolled on it, cold, lightning, and elemental damage with attack skills. I don't actually remember where I got this or how I got this. I might have just bought it. If I did, it was probably like 10 divine. Do I have Awaken POE trade? I will put Awaken POE trade up right now. And let's just see if there's even anything remotely close to this on the market. I really doubt there is. Okay, we need the dex, boop, boop. And we need the dex, boop, boop. Let's drop the life. Okay, without the life, you have a few and then like 10 divine range. It's pretty nutty. We'll put this to 18. We'll give it that full girthy. Yeah, so there's some out there, but you're not obviously not going to get it with the resistances and the life that I have. It just doesn't really exist. Once you put these resistances on, it's game over. This is one of the best belts in the game for this build. It's really dope. And that's the gear. For the flask, I have a Progenesis. I'm using it because I own it. This one right here is how I'm converting my last vestiges of physical damage to lightning. 50% of physical damage converted to lightning during effect. I'm using that bad boy to convert all of this physical damage to lightning. So you can see that's a pretty fat stack of damage, and when we hit that push, that physical goes to lightning, and we have 3 stacks of elemental damage that are nice and thick. So how much dexterity was I able to get? 2,401. That one is very important because if I was at just 2,400, I wouldn't feel any bit of special. Everyone's gotten to 2,400, but only me has gotten to 2,401. Now let's take a look at how I decided to path this. Obviously, I wanted to go with the Scion. I don't know why that's obvious, but for some reason, I've been saying obviously when I say things that are not that obvious because I am pretty obviously retarded. Now, I like the Scion for several reasons. It's always been a really cool class to me. Each one of these are a bit cucked out, and none of them are good enough to actually kind of use. But in this instance, because I'm able to get 60 dex right here on the tree, it kind of works out. And on top of that, I want to be all up in this zone anyway, so I don't even use anything other than the Scion starting node. I don't start here, I don't start here, I don't start here. I just start at the Scion because the Scion's pretty good. Now, what did I grab on my Scion? I got the Gladiator. 25% to aggravate bleeding on targets you hit with attacks. That doesn't even matter. I don't even care about that. Gain 50% chance to block from equipped shield. I am using Hollow Palm. I don't care about that. Inherent bonuses from dual wielding are doubled. That is pretty much the only reason I grabbed this node, is that inherent bonuses from dual wielding are doubled. Now, I also like the 1% more damage with hits and ailments to unique and rare enemies for every 2 seconds you've been near them. That's pretty good, too. It's actually kind of trash, but, it's something. I pretty much only grabbed this for the doubling of dual wielding bonuses. That's going to allow me to get block and spell block. Then I went with Pathfinder. Pathfinder is great because it's going to refill my charges on my flask, and I'm using these flasks, which are all pretty important. This one converts. This one gives me block. This is a dope-ass movement speed one. And, Progenesis is always the best flask you can get. So that's pretty stellar. But on top of that, I also have the Champion. Now, the Champion gives me Fortify. It intimidates enemies. It what is that called? Enrages, intensifies, blubs. I am just going to pull it up. I can't remember the exact POE planner. It won't let me show you because I've already spec'd into something else. So let's take a look at Mr. Champion. Hits Fortify 50% of the time, which is 100% of the time. Enemies taunted, that's the word I was looking for. Taunted, take 10% increased damage. That's a 10% more multiplier. That's really good. 100% chance to taunt on hit. 15% increased effect of auras. And your hits permanently intimidate enemies that are on full life. So this is a really nice node. And I probably should have spec'd into that and then bought the Gladiator, because I'm always going to want this, and I probably won't always want Gladiator. But it doesn't matter. These were very inexpensive when I got them. Let's see how much they are now. They're probably not very pricey at all. Look at that, a Divine. Where is the other one? Right here? No. Right here. And 50 Chaos. So a Divine and 50 Chaos. Very inexpensive. Another great reason to play the Scion. Now, that's probably better than every jewel you can get, but maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe not. Maybe 2 jewel sockets is better than 10% more damage, Fortify, Taunt, Infective Auras, and permanently intimidating enemies. You could probably get some jewels that are better than that, but this is cool to do this anyway. It's just cool. It's fun. It's cool. That's why I do it. Now, for auras, we are looking at Hatred and Purity of Elements. Now, I like Purity of Elements because it gives me the resistances I need, because I'm not using a lot of gear. I am missing out on a glove slot, a shield slot, and a weapon slot. And I'm stacking dex, and it's really hard to get elemental resistances when you're stacking dex. And so, that just fixes everything, makes it nice and easy. Now, if you can manage to finagle your resistance and not need that, you'd be better off using something else. Haste would probably be the best one because movement speed is always king. Now, Those are the two auras. I'm running Hatred because I want that cold damage, because on my 6th link, I am rocking the Volcanic Fissure of Snaking and Trinity supports. Trinity support is a lot of damage for this build because it's my only source of pin. Now, we are also rocking Awakened melee physical damage support for the obviousness of its obvious reasons. Hypothermia support. I mostly am running Hypothermia support because I could not get this body armor to roll 5 reds and 1 blue. It is a pure evasion based body armor, so it's gonna try to slip you as many of these greens as possible. And instead of fighting it, instead of running the corrupted, tormented chromatic orbs, I just gave up and said, fine, I will use a green support gem. Now, there's a support gem that's better than Hypothermia, and that would be a level 5 Awakened Enhance. That would give you like 40% increased quality of this bad boy, which would turn that 3 additional fissures into 5 additional fissures. I have a regular Enhance that's maxed out. It gives you 24%. And when you hit it in here with the +1, it then turns it to 30-something. But you need that full 40 to get the maximum benefit. And I don't think getting 1 extra fissure is better than Hypothermia support, unless you're doing a Blighted Map. If you're doing dedicated Blighted Maps, which this build is really good for, then you might want to put on your Enhance. But for now, I have the Hypothermia support. Life tap because mana's a bit rough, and we all know this situation, right? We all know what this ring is doing to my mana. It is hurting my mana, so I'm just throwing life tap in there. I have pulverized mostly because I get +2 to the level socketed AoE gems, but also mostly AoE is king. Everyone loves big fat stacks of AoE, so I might as well use that pulverize and get that AoE. Alright, skill for the 6th link is covered. Might as well cover the other ones. Okay, we have a Poacher's Mark in here. I just have this on my middle mouse button. I only hit it on bosses, and mostly to get the frenzy charges when I'm fighting bosses. And, you know, I didn't know what else to use. I didn't want to reduce any elemental resistances because I am using my favorite mastery, which is hits have a 25% chance to retreat enemy monster resistances as inverted, so I don't care about reducing their resistances because one of them hits is going to be a big old reverted hit. Now, the reverted hits are dope because if you can also get a shock, a freeze, and, well, ignite don't do shit, but a shock and a freeze, you're going to get big old shocks and freeze when you hit with those inversions. It really does work out nicely. Completely forgot what I was talking about, so let's just start with the tree and show what I am doing. Right here, we have this bad boy, which I rolled all on my own. A 2% increase reservation efficiency of skills, which is pretty dope because I'm not grabbing those anywhere, and it just gives me a little bit more mana, which is kind of nice. But this is giving me spell block for resistances, which is really hot in this zone. Wait. Oh, it's only lightning resistance or all elemental resistance. So it's only giving me, you know, 13%, 14% spell block. But it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. I could put it down over here and grab these bad boys, but I'm already pathing through here, so I might as well get the spell block there. For spell block, I am also running this bad boy, and I was able to get Dex and Chaos Resistance on it, which are both pretty nice for my build. I didn't really want the Mastery that it rolled, but I got what I got, and I needed what I got. I got Dex, I got Chaos Res, and I wanted to keep it. So I didn't worry about re-rolling it. And 4% block and 4% spell block are not too bad, but the other stuff is pretty useless. Pretty useless one. It's just 4 and 4 block. I would have much preferred the other, but when you get something that works, I usually throw it in. I'll stop. I don't need to min-max. I ain't trying to min-max. I ain't a min-maxer. I get something that is just good enough because I ain't got the time to fuck with it. And no one's like selling this kind of stuff, so I have to craft almost all of this on my own. And for this cluster jewel, it has 5 dex and 4 chaos resistances. That 4 chaos resistance is the main reason I'm using it, but the dex is also nice. I'm getting my mana leech here and another 6% spell block. This is going to set my spell block to 42% with the flask not on, but the flask is usually on, so it's 49% chance to block spell damage. Now, one of the nice things about being a dex stacker is you have a ton of dex, as the build says. So you could throw Mage Bane on there, which is 1% chance to suppress spell damage per 15 dexterity. Now, I have 2,400, which is well above 100%. So how am I going to utilize that? I'm going to grab Acrobatics, and this is going to give me a 75% chance to dodge spells. So that 75% chance to dodge spells, right here, dodge spells, 75%, plus the 50% chance to block spell damage, kind of works really hot together. Really nice together. So if it goes through my 75% chance to dodge, then it also has a 50% chance to be negated by a block. The odds and the math on that are real good, real high. Most spells do not hit me. Every now and then I'll get hit by a spell, but you know, I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it none. And my attack block is pretty much maxed out. And I have this bad boy anointed, so I get 78% max attack block. And then I'm grabbing this bad boy to give me 1% chance to block spell damage for 5% chance to block attack damage. And that is how I'm getting all of my block. Now let's just run. Reason I went with the block is because I was talking about the Blue Nightmare, which is helping to block. So I just covered all of block right there. Pathing through, I need all this jazz. This is dex. I like dex, so it does not matter that I'm pathing through there. These are all power nodes. These are all giving me more strength. Now this bad boy, 15 dex, 7% life, 12% area damage, 8% increased flask effect duration. That's a really nice jewel. I should corrupt it, but I am afraid of breaking it, and I like what that jewel looks like. I rolled that myself. I am very proud of it. Eagle of Hope, you are a dope-ass jewel. Now, the reason that 8% increased flask effect duration is really nice is I'm getting quite a bit of benefit from my flask because of this block, because of this nemesis, because of this movement speed, because of this physical damage conversion, and I am a little itty-bitty pathfinder, and I gain 3 flasks every 3 seconds, and I am pairing that with this amazing jewel, which I'll get to in just a second. Champion jewel, pathing all the way, and you'll see that it's highlighted yellow, and that's because I am using split personalities, pathing all the way up through here, because we got dex, we got increased damage, we got attack speed. This bad boy, plus 20 dex, plus 20 elemental damage, plus 20% increase effective non-damaging ailments, and increase the duration of that jazz, which is pretty nice, because the only chance I really have to apply ailments is from 20% right here. This is the only chance I have, but that's all I need. I don't need to be greedy. I got just what I need. Giving me that dex, giving me that alchemist genius when I use a flask, giving me that 20 dex, and if I wanted to, I can grab this bad boy for 5% chance to blind. It's unfortunate that this only counts if you're using weapons instead of just throwing bows with them fists, because I got another 20 on that bad boy. I'm grabbing this Frenzy Charge primarily because it's just 20% increased elemental damage, but I also get Frenzy Charges on bosses. 10% increased flask charge is gained, which is pretty nice as well. This is a very attractive Brutal Restraint that I got for 20 chaos, because it's not the best dex Brutal Restraint, and no one's really doing what I'm doing over in this area, so you're able to get this one very cheap if anyone is even selling it. Let's see if anyone is even selling it. We got one for 80, one for 1 divine, one for 130, so people are selling it, but I got it for 20, and I'm very proud of that. We got the trader. Flask gain 4 charges per empty flask slot every 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, I'm going to gain 4 flash charges. That in conjunction with gaining 3 flash charges, was that every 3 seconds? I'm generating my flask. I am getting the flask game done. Now for T16s, it's really excellent. Your flask are up pretty much the entire time. It's real nice. Let's scroll down here. Hits have 25% chance to be treated as inverted. That is pretty much mandatory for this build because I'm not doing anything to strip resistances, and your damage will be like 30% less without that. And on some of those really annoying monsters to get the buckets and buckets of resistances, even more so. Very good mastery. I consider it mandatory. Getting the dex tree here. Getting precise technique. And now that is another benefit of being a dex stacker. Your accuracy is through the moon. My accuracy rating is 5,739. That is a lot of accuracy, and I'm doing nothing to get more accuracy. I don't have grace. I'm not taking any other extra accuracy nodes. That accuracy is purely from dexterity, which is amazing. It is amazing. Now, these black nodes are the only black nodes I'm grabbing, and I get frenzy charges on block, but I don't really block enough, and the frenzy charge duration is too short, so I don't really maintain frenzy charges while T16 mapping, but ain't no big deal. NBD. I'm grabbing that bad boy just to get my 1 rage, and rage is pretty nice with the best melee skill in the game, Volcanic Fissure of the Snaking, because you slam the ground, it reaches out, and it hits 3 times, so you're generating rage as you're moving, and you don't lose rage very often, and this is all you really need to get to your 30 rage. This cluster jewel is really nice. It took a forever and a half shell to get this bad boy rolled with the 8 dex, the 4% all elemental resistances, and the 35% increased effect. It gave me Feed the Fury, and I don't even need it, but it's not bad. 30% increased damage while leeching, and 10% increased attack speed while leeching. If I really didn't want to get it, I can path over this way on the sides. But if I level up this character more, I'm just going to be grabbing these nodes anyways, because these nodes are really strong. And if I grab these nodes here, do a little bit of respecking, and grab these bad boys, I could probably drop Purity of Elements and add in Haste. But as I was saying before, I like things that make the game convenient more so than give me power. I take convenience over power every time. Quality of life over power every time. And that is the build. And this is probably one of the weirder pathings you'll ever see. It's probably not the best. I was debating about coming up this way, right? And then I can grab these blocks up here because these are really nice. But this is just how the cookie crumbled. This is just how it turned out because I wanted to cut through this middle part to get an extra 20 dex. And I like it. It makes this cluster jewel a lot of points. We are getting 91 dex, 91 life there, and we are getting 86 strength and 86 dex there. 65 and 69 slots before that. That is a lot of slot. I can even go farther if I really wanted to by putting in a medium cluster jewel in these bad boys to extend it a few more points for the meme factor, but I don't really care about going memey. And I'm pretty strapped on skill points as is, as you can see. Kind of looks like I'm grabbing nothing and mostly just getting travel nodes, but this is a pretty power zone here. That is all I really wanted to show in here. Now I will run some maps. I will punch the ground. I will scream at shit. It will be great. It will be fantastic. Let's do just a regular T16 alleyways to show what this build is capable of. Now, there's quite a few things you don't want to get. You can't do any resist damage. You can't do resist block. There's a few others. You need leech, so you got to have leech. I really like the build. It's smooth. You can see my experience. I am level 95, headed towards 96. It doesn't die very often. You can just, smoothly just punch the ground all the way to your way to victory. For my war cry, I'm using Seismic Cry. I didn't show that other set. We have Urgent Orders, Steel Skin, Cast more damage taken, and Seismic Cry. I'm using Seismic Cry because I like the increased area of effect. I don't really know what any of the other war cries do since they changed them. But I know that Seismic Cry increases the AoE, and I like the AoE to be big. Yeah, and it's really good for league mechanics like this. Just punch the ground, hold still. Let's try to see some of I get big old shocks on people. Normal enemies, normal yellows, it's usually, you know, 60 after they're shocked and hit, but they die so quickly a lot of times I don't even shock them or chill them or freeze them. Oh, latency 1300. Oh, latency crash. My internet knows when I'm making a video. So we'll just hang out here while my computer fucks up, and I could talk about, I'll just go to, I can't get POB because I don't have internet. I live in a hellscape of a place where the sun bakes all the internet, and they have too many people that live here, so, you know, when out of work time comes about that 5 o'clock, we have an extra couple million people crowd up this internet network, and we only have one ISP, and since we only have one ISP, they have no need to improve their internet. So this is going to be very annoying with this stuttering here. And I don't want to continue this map. You saw it good enough. T16, right? We don't need to run another. Or at least continue that one. I mean, that's a nice belt, but I'm getting annoyed because of the internet. I'm sure you can all relate to annoying ass internet. So let's run a Castle Runes. Let's run a big one, a 41% increased monster pack size. And the worst part about it is the internet is really fast until it's not. It's like, it's just unstable. But it's fast unstable. I get like 900 to 1,000 megabytes down. And then I go to 0. I'd rather have like a solid 100 megabytes down that never goes to 0. It's like having your frames per second on your video game be, you know, 1 million, but then it drops to 25 every now and then. No one wants that 25 drop. Or in this internet's case, 0. But no one gives a fuck about my internet. We are in this game with this Hallow Palm. Now, this is the strongest Hallow Palm has ever been, in my opinion, because all the skills got massive increases to physical damage, which makes Flat Fizz a little bit more special. I mean, it's not that much more special, but on top of increasing the physical damage for all the physical skills, they also made it a little bit harder to get Flat Fizz as an attribute to have, which also makes Flat Fizz a little bit stronger. And with Hallow Palm, you are getting Flat Fizz. So if we take a look at this guy, that is just my basic attack, getting massive physical damage. And that's all from the Dexity Dex that I got. Oh, you don't have to fight anybody for those ones. I don't think I'm running these bad boys. I think this just happens to be in my map. So I'm not going to place them. I only run that when I run big bombs, and I'm not running big bombs on this build. Now I have my Warcry on left click, and from time to time it's a little annoying, but I have the increased Warcry speed, so it's really not that bad. I mean, you'll stop and scream at people every now and then before you throw in blows, but beyond that, no one knows. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. You do a little stutter every now and then. Hoo-ah! Sometimes she sounds like the hawk. Too-ah, girl. She's spitting on that thing. She a big, strong, independent woman. Don't need no man. That's my Scion throwing fist. No weapons needed. No weapons needed, indeeded. And I got pretty good life, too. Normally I don't run life this high, but my defenses are pretty trash. I'm blocking most of the hits, and I'm dodging some of the hits. But if we look at my defenses, I mean, they really ain't nothing special. I got 27 armor, and when I war cry, that gets increased, which is pretty nice, right? But I get armor from my flask, so, you know, it pops up a little bit. And then I have a 25% chance to evade hits, so I don't have a lot of evasion. And in this map, my fire res ain't even capped. So with all those low defenses, it's kind of important to have that big life total to make it so when you do get hit by that 25% chance fizz, a little less because of the 25% dodge attacks, or evade, I mean. Whenever a hit goes through, you do kind of want that extra life total. Now T16s, it's really hard to die. It's just really hard to die. As you see, I'm just clowning around. But we finally get to see some of the DPS. Oh, he was sucking me off. See, you could die if you don't pay attention and get sucked off. Damn it! Wanted to see him die a little bit better so you could see the HP drop. But I had to move away because he started to suck me off, and I didn't like it this time. Sucked off a little too hard. Should have killed bosses. Those flasks really make you haul ass if you roll it like I rolled it. The increased effect with movement speed. That's the first time I've ever forgotten a flask rolled that good. I don't do any div card farming, so I don't even know what the Nameless Seer is all about. I just know the Nameless Seer gets namelessly ignored. I mean, I could just look up which has the best divination cards and run that until I get a bunch of sealers, but you know, fuck that. Fuck that. I don't farm no div cards. I got hit with some damage over time. Is probably bleed, so you're able to die from that. I couldn't figure out where the boss was. So, I'm done with that. You've seen the T16. You've seen the T16s. I got a bunch of these. Let's run a puzzle box. Let's see what we got here. A foil Tabula Rasa, foil Life Spring, foil Forbidden Flame, Will Clash, Forbidden Flame. Let's make sure we can do this. 6 Frenzy charges. That's fine. Beyond. Players can evade. That's fine. Contains the feared. Players cannot suppress spell damage. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I think I can do it. Since it's a T17, let's see if we can pump it up. Pump it up. Scarabs. It's got a 32% chance of Scarabs. Sure, let's pump up the unmodifiable. Aww. I didn't realize those were unmodifiable. Okay. Does it not count for my things? I don't know. Hey Maven, why are you interfering? Oh, I didn't even talk about my awesome mod. Nearby enemies have malediction, which is great. They do 10% less damage and they take 10% more damage. That's a nice little ad for my helmet. Are the feared in the boss room? In case I might need that if the feared are in the boss room. Where are the feared if they're not in the boss room? It says it contains the feared. Well, where you at, feared? I ain't feared of nothing. I ain't feared of nothing. Now I could throw a tincture in this bad boy. Drop out that block flask or the movement speed flask and then hit some tincture action. But with this build, I'm on a one-hand build, right? I got the left click for the war cry. I got my thumb trigger for the dash. I got the right click for the volcanic fissure of snaking, or otherwise known as the only melee skill in the game. Oh, here's the feared. Let's fuck these boys up. Let's maximize my snaky. Fight them from ranged, because this is a ranged melee skill, which makes total sense to call something melee. I am frozen, I am teleported, I can't move. And I did not die. You see that shit? I don't know. Whoa, I did die. I took way too long to respond to that beam. You see how long that took me? I don't know if I was in the middle of a war cry. I felt I responded way quicker than I actually responded. I just hung out in that beam storm. Could have been a latency spike. I wasn't paying attention, but my latency is whoop right now. Come on, latency. We can do this. We can do. I'm already a bad enough player. I don't need the latency debuff. I'm gonna go into the feared with the ultimate latency debuff. I wonder if that death's gonna count, because I was just completely logged out of the game. Completely disabled from moving. And I ain't fucking mad. I ain't gonna throw my can of soda over here. I ain't gonna throw nothing. And if I do, I will mute the microphone. And the worst part about it is if I do like this bad boy on refresh, it says I have internet, and it disconnected my game while saying I have internet. And I'm guessing that I might be getting throttled or some shit. Like maybe someone over at good old Cox, my internet provider, is an anti-fan. He's one of the 7 people that watch my videos, and he's like, I fucking hate that guy. I ain't paranoid. That's definitely a possibility. Fine. That's not a possibility. But you know what? I still feel like someone is after me. I got a persecution complex over this internet situation. That's the worst thing about, well, it's kind of the best thing about renting. But I can't imagine buying a house and then realizing the internet is trash after you bought your house. I mean, the house is pretty much pointless if your internet is garbage. I mean, you're gonna have to move, and you're gonna lose like 7% of the $600,000 or $700,000 you spent on that house. Okay, the feared is a bit rough for this build. I'm very scared, and I keep trying to fight Maven, who, you know, she's just here to watch. She's my cuck in the cuck chair. I really hate damage over time. It ruins all of my fun. I never know what like, is this damage over time? Yeah, that's chaos damage over time? What the hell? I think it went past my... Okay, I can focus on fighting these guys instead of focusing on the damage over time, because Maven keeps healing them. But we can demonstrate some single target here. Stop healing him, Maven. Let him die. Oh shit, I got hit by something. You guys see that? I don't know what it was. I didn't see it, I wasn't even paying attention. It was this shaper over here. Ah, got feared. Maybe it was does that bitch have reflect in these maps? Yeah, that's chaos damage. That does not look like chaos damage. Fuck that noise. Damage over time is the worst. It does not belong in ARPGs, in my unhumble opinion. Doesn't belong in any game. Fuck damage over time. I mean, I should dodge and block those spells, but for all I know, it's unblockable, undodgeable. Because this is the worst boss in the game. You know why this is the worst boss in the game? Because this boss, by its default status, I don't think it has it on the field, has reflect physical and elemental if you don't hit the one in the mirror, or if you do hit the one in the mirror. I forget. And I was standing on damage over time, apparently. Fighting him in a giant damage over time pit. Did he die? %2 increase attack and cast speed for each corpse consumed up to a maximum. That sounds like I just got the worst one in existence. That sounds awful. 30 chaos. Oh my god, such disrespect. Such disrespect. I don't know why I'm reading these. I don't give a shit about these. Oh, that was disgusting. Alright, let's do some T17s. Let's see, I got the most fortresses. So we're gonna run ourselves a fortress. Critical strike strands, crit multi, totems, avoid poison, impel bleed, penetrate resistances, physical damages, extra chaos, wither. Players have less area of effect. That's totally fine. 53% more scarabs. We'll add more scarabs to that. Actually, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna find a bad one. I want some maps. I want some big old T16 maps. I love T16 maps. So let's roll for some more maps. 100% increased maps. That's what I'm talking about. Let's start from the bottom. Blood Swarmed Saw Blades. I don't know if I can block those. If I remember correctly, I can't block those, and I think those will instantly kill me. Maven interferes with player, buffs on player expire, 70% faster, hexproof. Alright, I'm gonna have to Google that. Bloodstained Saw Blades. Can you block blood-stained saw blades? POE. Oh, look, I got logged out. It's looking like you can't defend against it. Someone's bitching right here. Okay, they're saying you can't defend against it. I kind of remember not being able to defend against it. TBH. I don't know why I choose to record a video right after work when everyone else is on the internet. Look at this latency. I just got in here. And of course, my internet is probably saying it's just fine. It's like, oh, you're just fine. You're just fine. Eat a dick. Look at this fucking bullshit. It's like, I'm a gigabit a second. I'm a gigabit. Fuck you. You ain't no goddamn gigabit a second. Let me see what we got here. Pack size. Map enhancing rarity. Divination cards, currency, scarab, pack size, item rare. I thought there was one for maps. Am I a psycho? I'll just do pack size then. I really shouldn't do a T16 with juicy scarabs with this internet, but I'm a wild man. I only got so much time in the day to play, so, you know, I gotta play when the internet is shit. I gotta play when the internet is shit. So I love running the maps. Area has additional modifier, random modifier. I don't know if I need that one. I don't need 20 of those. I just need one of these. Let's see. Oh damn! This is a damn jam right here. Rare monsters in area have 2 additional modifiers. Up to 2 additional rare monsters in area will be Pantheon touched. Area contains 4 additional packs of mirrored rares. Is that what I want? Mirrored rares? Yeah, we'll do 4 additional packs of mirrored rares. Right? Ooh, increased magic monsters. Now that's what I want. I got it. T17. Here we go. I haven't really done a lot of content. I just leveled this boy up. My strong, independent woman punching the ground with her dex fist. Ooh, that steel ring is gonna be so hot. Again, volcanic fissure, snaking. Oh, and latency. Look at that latency. Just gonna keep hitting the ground until it lets me move. Gotta love that snaky. It goes where it wants. Oh no, latency. Am I gonna die? I mean, Streets of Rage comes on, you gotta turn it up a little bit. Oh, there's a thick map. There's a thick map. Now the question is, am I gonna remember to set it aside? Ooh, juice. Ooh, I think I heard another thick map way ahead from where I was hitting. There's a volcanic snaky snake. Goes where it wants. Ooh, so thick. Now, some people might not like this slow attack speed. If that's the case, you can replace this Awakened Melee Fizz and this Pulverized support. You got several options. The most obvious being Awakened increased elemental damage with attacks. And you can do some elemental penetration if you wanted. With another blue socket. Single target is the weakest point of this build, the weakest aspect of this build. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Especially when you get them big shocks and big freezes on them, big chills. It's not too bad at all. I have a feeling this might be like the worst T16 map out there. I get this one the most out of all of them by a large margin, and it kind of seems like the loot in it isn't quite as good. I have no way to know that. Someone might have done some kind of weird test or data mining on it, but it does kind of feel like I get kind of gypped out a little bit on these ones, on these fortresses. Of course, my setup is for, you know, maps. That is what I'm trying to do, so we'll see how many maps I get. The coolest thing about Volcanic Fissure, the snaking, is the off screening. Like, you're already partying. If we look at my rage, you know, it's 18, 19, 20. You just keep going fast, and I can turn around. Well, I can't count my rage anymore. That's a whole stack of 6 link right there. That's a whole stack of 6 link. Oh, we got a fatty. We got a Jenny Craig client right here. 50% shock on that bad boy. I had a 50% shock on that bad boy. Damage over time, you are the worst. Everybody hates you. I think these are all probably like rares, so I'm just gonna throw them all in this big boy stash. Oh, damn it. I almost remembered. Let's throw these maps right here. I threw a couple in and missed it. But I like to gleam at my prize at the end of the thing. Look at all them thick, juicy maps I got. Never have too many steel rings. Stop talking to me. Gotta love a big old fat 6 link, though. And since, you know, it doesn't seem like these mods are killing me, seems like I'm handling it just fine. I already cleared the boss. I do not mind using them extra ports. Throw a little volcanic snaky down the alleyway. Let it do its job. Throw the snaky right, throw the snaky left, get all the loot, and fuck it up. Ooh, double juice maps. Now, if I were to do dedicated bossing, I'd probably use a different skill that does... It kind of needs to do fire damage, but not necessarily. So you could use something like maybe Wild Strike, or... if Wild Strike lets you not use a weapon. Or you can do something like that ice one that a lot of people use. Glacial Hammer, I think it's called. I hate that one. It does a little big old circle. It's one of the highest damage skills in the game, but I just don't like it. It's not exciting to me. It's just not exciting. It's not it. If you want to switch to something like Cyclone, you can put on something to replace Trinity, because you're going to be losing your fire damage. We can turn that down now. We're done with that T17. So we cleared out, got us some linky links. T17 handled relatively easy. I don't believe I died, and if I did die, I'm still gonna say I didn't. Let's run one of these. Let's see if these will kill me. These usually are pretty good at killing builds that are a little dishonest with their defenses. Like my build is just slightly dishonest because I don't really have any defenses. You know, if I'm being honest, I got 75% chance to dodge spells with 50% chance to block on that back end just in case the dodge doesn't go through, and then 78% chance to block attack damage, and that about it. You know, a little bit of evasion to give me about a 25% chance to evade. Tiny splash armor. 24 to 5, of course. What I think they should allow you to do for these is as soon as you've cleared a level, it allows you to start at that level. And they should have kept it at 30, a 30 stack, and let you just choose what level you want to come in at. So if you want to just do the final level, it should let you do that. Because I would do that for making videos, right? Because I don't want to do any editing because I'm super lazy. So I'm not going to edit together all the best of my clips, right? I have a real job and a real life. I can't do that kind of shit. But it would be pretty nice if I didn't have to run through all of this just to show you guys it running this. Because you guys really only care about the T15 or the 15th round, right? You don't give a shit about none of those 1 through 14. Even though sometimes, depending on the mod you get, because the mods just kind of randomize as you go through. I think they do. They just change as you grab new ones. Because sometimes the mods are brutal even when they're not on the final one. Building this build was a lot of fun. I have always been a huge fan of being a stacker, right? I think stacker builds are highly rewarding in terms of the progression you get out of filling the build. So I got Hollow Palm early on leveling this character. I got it like level, I think by the time I could use Cyclone at level 24, I was Hollow Palming when leveled up. So I started Hollow Palming when my dex was only like 300. And I felt my dex go from 300 to 2,401. And that was a good feeling. It was a good feeling. Every little bit of dex I got, it stacked and stacked until I had a lot. And then I was hitting the ground real piss-like and doing all of the damage. It was real nice. It was real, it was a lot of fun. And I leveled up with the new level up technique of purple buff, whatever that is called. Man, I've already forgotten what that shit's called. Envy, there we go. You get that Envy aura and then you put it on your Wolfy Wolves. I already used the wolf ring, but you can't equip that ring until level 20. Those wolves are just, they're stellar for leveling up. I think I might have gotten into maps in like almost 3 hours. And if you count out, if you remove like a lot of my dick around time, it was easily 3 hours. I got a lot of dick around time. I'm not a racer. I don't ever like try to beat my time. I consciously try to go fast, but I am easily distracted. I have to take like a gallon of Ritalin in order to not, you know, pick up an item and look at it, or, you know, hang out in town, whispering secrets to that heavy-chested lady. You know, a bunch of slacker shit. My bro's pretty quick. He's been, I don't know if he's been practicing or if he just actually can get better at things, unlike me where I stay stagnant. But he's been using a lot of the log out shit. Ever since they allowed you to log out and not completely log out of the game, you just log in, out. I forget what they did. I don't do log out macros or any kind of logging out to skip movement cutscenes. But he's been doing a lot of that log out shit, and it's sped up his stuff pretty significantly. You fight a boss and you kill the boss, and instead of waiting for that boss to, you know, finish his animation and open a locked door, stop the goddamn talking, you just log out, log back in, and they'll put you in town with the quest complete. I ain't never tried it, but it's been working well for my brother. I'm talking about that as if it's probably new information, and I realize that everybody knows this, but I got much else to say, so I'm just kind of rambling. I got 15 of these maps to fill the empty airwaves with, so I'm gonna fill them with whatever the fuck comes to mind, because it is an extended weekend, and I am loving this Hollow Palm build. Take a look at these defenses. Look at these defenses. With my flask up, maximum chance to block, 49% spell block, 75% spell visage with a mirror visage. 27 armor, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Flaskless. We're going flaskless. That's 27 de armor. Life regenerates pretty sharp. 194 while not moving, 186 while moving. I got me some leech. I got me some leech. Where my fat? Oh, I got a fat boy. Maybe I gotta use some. Damn it, I tried to cast my Poacher's... Oh yeah, I put Poacher's Mark on spacebar. If I lift my left hand out of its cubby hole and move it to the keyboard. I fucking love this song, man. One, it's nostalgia to the max for me. Two, it's just a dope-ass funky beat. Give me that extra AOE. I don't believe I'll do this deathless. I think I'll die twice. I haven't tried it yet, but I just got a feeling like I'm gonna die twice. One is gonna be from a rogue bleed. Because rogue bleeds that go through my block chance do have a pretty high probability of killing me. And aside from the rogue bleed, I do believe I'm gonna die from the fat man jumping on his little circle and causing that wave to go through. I don't know if that's a spell block or an attack block. It looks like attack, but it hits like a spell. If it's a spell, I got a 75% chance to evade it and a 50% chance to fucking block that shit, so I hope it's a spell. I got marks over my head. looked at some of the boss battles in POE 2. I try to avoid as much of this content as possible for POE 2. I want to go in as blind as possible, but you know, my feed is full of Path of Exile videos, and I was watching a regular old Path of Exile video while at work, and the next up, the autoplay for the next video was a POE 2 Talkative Tries video, where he was talking about comparing bosses between POE 2 to Diablo 4, and I think Lost Ark. And I let it play. I shouldn't have let it play. Go in more blind. It would have been hilarious to go into a boss fight not knowing that if you die in the boss fight, you have to exit and his health comes back, which I think is an excellent addition. It kind of removes 6 portal defense, right? But it also incentivizes 6 portal defense with skill. So you still have a 6 portal defense. Well, I guess it's not really a 6 portal defense. It's kill the boss before you die defense. But it'll allow you to focus a lot more on mechanics, and it looks like that's kind of what they're building in. Let's see. Arcane Adapt is pretty shit. Bloodsend's good. I mean, maybe I can find a use for that. Another banger track from Space Harrier. Some of the bosses look pretty cool. I don't want to get too hyped for it. I didn't see like a lot of really annoying stuff, but I have a feeling there's going to be way too much boss phasing. Again, I've only seen that one video on the bossing. I didn't see any phasings that I remember. But if they're trying to make more engaging boss fights, giving each boss multiple phases, which to me is extra time and invisibility time where you can't do damage or you really don't even fight him while he just like jerks off. Like a Frieza transformation. It's gonna take 5 episodes. Which I'm not about. I'm not about that. Now, if they did it intelligently, that'd be pretty awesome. I don't know if they're gonna have maps again. I imagine they're probably gonna do maps. Maps was a good idea. But what they do is they give you the long, dramatic phases the first time you fight the boss. And then the second time you fight the boss, they have a shorter version. They already kind of do something like that with the Maven bosses, right? You have that boss that's like on the ledge, and he throws the heart out, and you have to hit the heart a bunch. They quickened his animations. You know, they have different versions of bosses when you fight there. Like when you go into the feared, that reflect bitch isn't reflecting. So they already modified the bosses a little bit in different environments and different instances. So when you get to maps, if they modified all the bosses to skip out on all the long, dramatic phasing, that'd be pretty dope. What was that, like 13? I killed that dude quick. I'd say some of the biggest downsides of playing this build is building this build, specifically with the cluster jewels. Now, if you avoid the cluster jewels, if you just don't worry about these cluster jewels, give you like an extra 20 points you can figure out what to do with. Like you can go over this way, grab these int nodes, and then put it in this int socket with the dex to convert. And then you can grab attack speed in another socket, and then regen in another socket. You can do a lot of stuff to do this differently instead of using cluster jewels. Because cluster jewel rolling was the worst thing about this build. And you really, it's like, you're not really gonna get a lot of these for sale with these things. There's only 2 for sale right now that have the high dex nodes. So there's really not an opportunity to buy those. Deck stacking isn't very popular. So in building this build, the cluster jewels was the biggest pain in the ass. But if you like what you see and you want to build this, you can do it without cluster jewels. Just respec it a little bit. I would definitely recommend going to the left area. You can grab that extra attack speed and block. And there's also dual wielding nodes you can grab just below you. Just below the duelist. Those could be pretty cool. Okay, I'm only getting a 12% shock on that bat, 13% shock. That's still pretty good for how far these are, but obviously we want more. Did I get my... No, I didn't get my curse off on them. I did predict to die to this guy, so when he does his slam, that's my death. %, shock, 13% shock. Do they have something to reduce their shock count? No, not that I see. Yeah, 12% shock is what I'm working with. That's 12% more damage. It's pretty nice. As you see, I fill up that Trinity bar real sexy like. Oh, that was only a 13. I imagine that shock will get less. Another fucking banger track. It's kind of weird, right? Classical music ended, but technically it didn't end because this is complete classical music, and as is all of Castlevania music. All Castlevania music is essentially just a more advanced version of Bach. And classical music's kind of crazy because it spanned like 300 years, right? It didn't start with Bach, but Bach was pretty popular in the 1600s. And then it moves into the 1700s, which I believe is like Beethoven. And then it moves, or Mozart and then Beethoven. And then it moves into the very later years, which is something like Rachmaninoff, Brahms, a few others. And it's kind of difficult for us to realize the passage of time in the regard that it was one genre of music that survived for that long, and technically it's going on today. That's 300-400 years of classical music genre being created. Or if we look at something like rap, you'd say it started in probably like the 40s at its like most primitive, and then took off into the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then you got rap hip-hop influence a little bit more in the 90s. Then country music is also relatively new, 19th century shit, maybe a little bit in the 18th. But then rock and pop came along, and now rock and pop have kind of pigeonholed a lot of the, well, rock, hip-hop, and pop. Pigeonholed most of the music market, at least in America. I don't know about the rest of the world. But that shit's not gonna last for 300 years, right? And if we think about like shred guitar work, that kind of started with Eddie Van Halen, that really doesn't got a lot of history. That's like in the late 70s, early 80s is where that shred shit started. And by shit, you know, I like it. I'm a big fan of the shred. But we've only got like 40 years of that. And now we got stuff like Tim Henson, which is incredible. With like 40 years of evolution, we ended up with like Tim Henson, Jason Richardson, a bunch of other really talented guitarists that are way, way, way more technically proficient than someone like Eddie Van Halen. It's unpopular to say that. Eddie Van Halen was a groundbreaking musician in terms of his raw playing. There's people much better than Eddie Van Halen. And you can argue again. Oh, I did die. I didn't know what I wasn't paying attention to what I died with. I predicted I would die to a slam. I think that was a slam. Let me see if there's a boss in there. Oh, yep, I died to a slam, just like I said I would. Oh no, I didn't say I was gonna die to that boss. That boss wasn't supposed to kill me. It was supposed to be the big boy up above me. But anyways, like 300 years of evolution of a genre. It's kind of weird to think about. That's equivalent to listening to pop music in 2023. Not 2023. 2320. 200 years from now. 300 years from now. I'm trying to imagine what our pop music will sound like. And if we use classical music as a reference, Bach is not that different from a much later musician like Rachmaninoff. Sure, you can definitely tell that Bach is more rigid and rudimentary, but they're not really that different. When you compare it to something like the Beatles to NSYNC, or the Beatles to, I'm trying to think of like a pop band, Ed Sheeran. They're a lot more different, in my opinion, than something like Bach and Chopin. Yeah, Chopin's quite a bit different than Bach. I'm over here talking classical music to the internet of young kids who I guarantee do not listen to no fucking classical music. I am just wasting airspace when I should be talking about my build, but I don't know what else to say other than it's pretty dope. It's pretty fire. Oh, that was T15? I never get shit in these. It's always just kind of a dud. It's just kind of a dud. What else can I do with this build? What can I show you? Let's do a boss. Let's do a Maven. This build's weakest aspect is definitely its damage over time. It always takes me a hot minute to find where the Mavens are at. Where the Mavens at? Where the Mavens at? And I really ought to switch from Volcanic Fissure of Snaking, but I'm demoing it with Snaking, so I'm going to keep the Snaking on. But know that if you switch skills to much more damaging skills, like you can do Molten Strike of the Zenith, you can do a lot of different skills instead of this. You're going to do a lot more damage on these single targeted on these bosses. Wonder if I die if I stay on the edge like that. God, I hate these guys. They're the worst. They do that damage over time. It sucks. I'm gonna pause my tunes. I have penalties for dying now. I didn't just level up. I actually have quite a bit of experience that I don't want to lose. So I am going to actually try a little bit harder than I normally do to not die while fighting this little slut. And in order to do that, I need the audio cues. She'll tell you how many memory guessing games there are. I just play a little bit better with the musico. It's more tedious, but more substantive. Damn, you guys see those Maven hits? Get fucked, nerd. You should be dead. Should take that war cry off and just do the movement speed. Oh shit. That debuff is such fucking horse malarkey. Oh fuck. she's doing a memory game. Oh, fuck, I forgot it. One death, not so bad. And it was my own fault kind of death. I do need one of these belts, and that does have a high fire res, but not a perfect life roll. When I do use that belt, I always make sure I get the best of that belt. Alright, so that was a Maven. Let me see what we got here. Red boss will be pretty interesting. I don't know what my fire resistances are like. Reduce flash charges. I really don't want to fight him with reduced flash charges. Yeah, that should be fine. Burning ground. I'm not immune to that, so I gotta stay off the burning ground. But that should be fine. I don't need audio cues for this guy. I'm chunking some damage. Oh, I almost never kill that son of a bitch before he goes through a phase. Get fucked, loser! I threw it on the ground. I don't want that shit. I need a perfect roll. I need a perfect fucking roll if you're gonna give me that fucking garbage. Unnecessarily aggressive about it. Stuff. I don't have an Uber Elder ready, or that guy. Oh, let's do a fucking 5-way. Why not? Why the fuck not? Oh, I gotta stand. I gotta have a little bit of patience, you know. Gotta guzzle that gallon of the red lamb. Oh, hell yeah. Fucking Thunder Force 4. Oh shit, you gotta go in the middle. Let him blow his load. I don't really know how that load blowing works. But that Frenzy charge I just got was clutch. I think maybe each one is on like a 20-second timer or something like that. But I don't really know how they blow their load. Because sometimes you blow the load and nobody responds. I don't know if it's always been that way. Or if they modify. I know they nerfed the experience portion to not make it so beneficial. Maybe they changed the loading. What does my raw damage say? 2.7 million as just a base damage. That's pretty dope. Not that, you know, that number means anything. You gotta head into the POB to figure that shit out. But it is still pretty dope to see some big ass fucking damage numbers. 3 million. To get them big ass fucking hits. Well, that bitch up here didn't die. Let's go counterclockwise, why not? Wait, this would be clockwise. I don't know why I normally go counterclockwise. Maybe because I'm counterculture. Little fucking hipster. It feels so unnatural going this way. That's why I go the other way. This feels wrong. Oh, this is gross. Who would go clockwise? It's so nasty. It don't feel right. Oh yeah, there's nobody here. I'm killing them too fast. Dude on the pony just got sucked off. I thought that was the bars. That's the bars. See me freezing? You see me freezing these bitches? I'm freezing the big boys. They can't handle it. They can't handle it. They get frozen. Man, that freeze is pretty chill. You know what I mean? Oh, shit. Fucking Pony Boy. He really travels the distance. Hell yeah. Talk about some love making. Love making with the loot. Really? I didn't do good enough to get fucking some dope ass rewards? Disappointment. Guess I suck. I thought I was doing alright, but apparently I fucking suck. I just rolled over my blanket with my wheels. I really hate chairs with wheels, because I roll over shit all the time. And since I'm an old man, you know, I gotta have that blanket on. The draft on the balls is way too strong without a blanket. I mean, I guess I could just wear pants. Fuck that. Not a savage. Not a fucking monkey. I'm not gonna wear no damn pants. No one can make me. Alright, what else can we run? You know what this is really good at? You know what this is really good at? This is really good at running these bad boys. Tier 16 Blighted Cold River Casino. I like the green for the experience. I need that experience. Trying to level up one more time. After I just did a bunch of bosses. And died like a bitch. Yeah, I'm totally fine with all of this shit. Let's do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it right. I think this is the last song on my playlist. I have to see what it randomly goes to. I'm gonna probably try to do some type of bullshit. That's something I'm gonna have to mute. Oh, I thought I started it. That fucking latency bullshit. Fucking bull. It knows when I'm in an enchant spark. It's like, oh, you started a blighted map? I'm gonna start fucking around. Look at it fucking around. Look at it fucking around. Next up is Metal Slug X. Okay, I'm fine with that. Shouldn't be copyright. Okay. Hell no. Okay, we're gonna chill out. We're gonna chill a little bit. I don't like my portal there. I started with high energy, but I guess we can end the video on a chill. This is fucking great with the latency. I'm kind of a loser. I'm kind of a dork, right? I don't got a lot of people that talk to me. You know, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. But you know, I'm the most fucking popular person on the planet as soon as I hit record. I think it's because I usually record these videos right after work and everyone else is getting off of work and they just like really just desire my attention. But I swear to God, every time I turn on a camera to record, my phone lights the fuck up. I have 32 new messages on my phone. I don't know what the fuck is going on, and I ain't even gonna look. You know what? I got my time to play my game, dogs. I mean, we don't know how good I'm doing, because I just stand here and I punch the ground and everything dies in a ball, a fiery cluster of latency death. My latency is trying to fucking play with the beat. That's what it's trying to do. Yeah, these are pretty good at blighted maps. This build is really good if you like doing blighted maps. The good thing about this version of a blighted map, let's say you're watching a TV show, right? Obviously you got your video game muted up and you're watching that TV show, you're running blighted maps, and that's all they need to know. Fucking bubbleheads. Fucking latency. I don't know how it feels like sometimes you can kill them when they have the bubble, and other times you can't. And I really don't know the criteria for killing bubble people. I mean, obviously you just take them out of their bubble. Oh, is that another bubble person? I just fucking erased that guy. Like the classic movie Eraserhead. From the brilliant director that also did Twin Peaks. And Boxing Helena. Blue Velvet. Mr. Lynch. Master of making weird ass fucking shit. And you know me, I love my fucking weird shit. God, this latency. It's a good thing that the last thing I have to show after this is the POE. You've seen it in action enough. You know what it offers. It offers ground punching good times. It offers a big old fat stack of decks. It offers 75% spell dodge, 49 to 50% spell block. You can finagle that, like if you're trying to level up, you can finagle that a little bit different. And get it to max spell block. You can even get wild and put an additional 2 points and get 80% chance to block attack damage instead of 78. If you wanted to get real wild with it. If you want to be a hot cake. If you want to be a hothead. Man, I couldn't have done that with any other build. Did latency going on? I could not have done that. I pick up these oils. And I turn them into gold. That's what I do. I use that yellow harvest juice. I re-roll that shit till it's a nice color. Something I can brag to mommy about. Something like gold. Silver works too. I'll even settle for some crimson or blue. I do not like this version of this song. I can't let it keep playing. It was irking me. Oh my god, the latency, guys. Feels like I'm in like a third world shithole. I'm playing on 56K. At a fucking Starbucks. On the Starbucks public Wi-Fi. Like I'm in desperate shapes. I mean, like always, there's very little that reward in these fucking things. Tiger. Alright, that is the Hollow Palm build. I mean, I might as well do a delve. I mean, delves are great when you got a lot of latency. It's just a real good idea, especially when you're trying to level up, to hop into a delve with a ton of latency. I mean, delve is easy as pie. Just stand in one spot, punch the ground, and everything die. Lift your right finger up a little bit, get that war cry, for that extra O. That's Delve. I mean, that's everything you need to know. That's everything you need to go. Quick recap of the gear. That bad boy is awesome. That bad boy is awesome. This guy's great, but you could do better. You could do better. You could roll to better attributes. I stopped at 17% because, like, I ain't gonna get that 20. I ain't gonna hit that 20. You can't really do better than that. Can't really do better than that. Aside from the fact that I ain't even generating endurance charges. I plan to at some point, right? But right now I don't. And then that bad boy. That shit good. That shit real good. Now, in terms of making this build mandatory, you're probably gonna need one of these bad boys. I mean, you just pick this guy up for a div. You don't really need that. You can do without that. You don't need it. But if you don't choose this guy, then you're going to want to be the champion instead of the gladiator. But I really did want to use the gladiator Scion. I haven't used it before. It's pretty nice. I kind of like it. The doubling effects of dual wielding is really awesome. Like, a lot of people aren't quite thinking about the block you get from it, because it goes from 20 block to 40 block, which is a significant boost. And that allows me to do something like grabbing only that many block nodes, and then this, and my flask, and my chance to block attack damage is maxed. I mean, really only like 4 points and an anoint to do my attack block, which is pretty fire. Actually, yeah, never mind. Sorry, I was thinking in my head. So let's take a look at the POE. Import. Start. Now I have 2 characters. I want the shoulder deep fisting. You know why I had to go shoulder deep? Because arm deep fisting was taken. Elbow deep fisting was taken. But shoulder deep fisting? People don't want to go that deep. They don't want to know that you can go that deep. They're trying to avoid it. Alright. Scale. Let's take a look at that DPS. Wait, what the hell? Oh, obviously that's not triggered. What in the hell? Alright. Skill. What happens when we put this count at 3? I mean, obviously it's not. You're only gonna have pretty much one hitting the boss at once, and you only really care about the boss. So we gonna go, enemy boss is a guardian pinnacle. Are we moving shore? Nah, I'll be holding still. We got frenzies, we got life tap, we are fortified, we do have alchemist genius, we are at 30 rage, I am leeching, a flask is active. Okay, they are not blinded, they are taunted, they are burning, they are igniting, they are chilled. Hell, let's even count them as frozen. I mean, I'm hitting big shocks, right? On regular bosses, it's like 15, so I'm just gonna do, I mean, on like the biggest of bosses, we were getting 12. On regular bosses, it's like 30 to 50, so I'm just gonna do 30 on the shock. They are, in fact, intimidated. They are not crushed. Lowest resonance power. I don't know what the lowest is, but I'm maximum. So let's just type numbers and tell, you know, it gets it. I am maximum of that shit. That Warcry power don't do nothing. Don't do shit. Alright, alright. That should be it. We gotta enable our flasky flask. Yeah, that's some shit defenses, but you know what? It's a lie. You saw me going through this. You saw me going through it like it was no big thing. 176,000 effective hit points. Shit, POE. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But this bad boy got 8 million DPS. That felt pretty good. Playing this felt pretty fucking good, if I do say so myself. Now, let's take a look at what it would be like if we counted 2 hits. Like, if we got lucky enough where this bad boy snaked back around and got that double tap, then we're at 15 million, which is real nice. Now, let's go back down, and let's pretend that we got enough to leech that manas, and we wanted to add elemental awakened damage. Wow, you just refuse to say that right. Awakened elemental damage with attacks. Let's just throw that on there. 9.4 millis if you can stomach the massive costs of mana. And let's say we get rid of Fist of War and we want awakened multi-strike. Like, if you're gonna go ham with this bitch. Now, why we got a warning? Oh yeah, we don't have enough mana, obviously. Now we're cooking with some goddamn looby butter. Hypothermia, I think regardless of anything, that's gonna be what we want. We can do elemental pan, but hypothermia, it's the jam. It's really what we got. It's freezing people. It's doing its work. It's doing its job. But we could put it to level 21 if we're gonna go cray. It didn't do shit to go to 21. Let's take a look at some of these damage numbers. What happens if I just remove this bad boy, which is give me 40 dex? That is 800,000 damage for just one little nodey node. Let's see how much damage we get from just that adding a 10 dex node. Look at that bad boy. Look at that bad boy damage just fucking skyrocketing, just boosting, just thrusting into the atmosphere. Because if we take a look at our dex, which I don't think, oh yeah, 2,401, and we add 10, that goes up to 2,021. So I'm getting 100% more dex for every node. So each one of these dex nodes is actually root boot 20, which is real slicky ricky. It's not right about 20, it is 20 if I do know my shit, and I do. 30 dex is giving me 60. Man, that's nice. That's some slick dick. So now if I just do this bad boy, boom, look how much damage I'm getting. 3 more levels, I'm gonna be all the way up there. All the way up there on that shit. Let's see what happens when we get some dual wielding damage. Oh, that ain't bad. That ain't bad. What about you? 2 points. What about you? Oh, that pretty good. That pretty good too. Alright. That's it. I will check you guys later. Hollow Palm Scion.